Welcome back to another episode of Bromance. I'm Ryan, and today I had Terrell on. We talked a lot about the Lakers for, I'd say, about more than half the show. We talked about the rest of the playoffs, and then the Jaguars traded up to the number 2 pick, so I gave my live reaction to that. But that's it. I hope you guys enjoy.
Ice water turn Atlantic. Night calling in a phantom. Told them, hold it, don't you panic.
Welcome back to another episode of Bromance. I'm Ryan, and today we got Terrell on. Terrell, how we doing, baby?
Yo, I'm pretty good. I'm excited to be back. How you feeling?
I'm doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. The Knicks are playing right now. I got that shit on pause. I'll catch up at halftime, but I really wanted to have you on to talk about the Lakers and whatever else you want to talk about.
Well, I appreciate you putting aside the Knicks temporarily to have a conversation with me about my team while your team sits on the back burner. That's very thoughtful of you.
It also might be a little bit easier if they're just like not doing too hot. Be like, I might fast forward like a few minutes here, see what happens.
Yeah, it's also a lot easier to watch a game when you're not a fan because I haven't watched that much basketball this season. But I forgot how much more stressful it is watching as a fan because it's like I just watch as a fan of basketball, not as a fan of a team, usually when I'm watching. But once you start watching as a fan of your team, it gets hard when your emotions are invested. You see somebody doing something dumb that they shouldn't be doing. You see people passing up on shots and it's missing opportunities that are then causing you to now lose, and it snowballs from there. So, yeah, I feel you.
I've never been that type of fan to like yell and scream and to like throw shit. But I know my dad's never going to watch this, but my dad used to always wake me up in high school. It would be like a Sunday night football Patriots game where it's like 11:30 at night, and I wake up to my dad being like, fuck, shit, I can't believe they sold the game. What the fuck, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, all right, the Patriots lost. Let me pull up the ESPN app, and it'll be like, Patriots lose on last second drive down the field or something like that.
That could be part of the reason you don't do that now. Just the PTSD still carries with you.
I think so, yeah. I think so. I'm a pretty mellow fan. And I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, if you think about it, like, you could say or do whatever you want. Like, it's not going to change the outcome of the game. So,
yeah, no. And also, it's like I can I can empathize with your dad because if it's like you're going to lose at the last second, I'm not that type of fan either. But if we lose on a game beater or a buzzer beater, I'm gonna be pretty pissed. I will yell, but similar.
I will be like very upset that day, and I will probably wake up upset. But eventually, I'll be like, all right, I'll just get over this and be ready for the next game.
That's crazy. You still wake up upset?
Yes. Yeah. So a little bit behind the scenes. So right before this, I recorded like a solo pod about 20 minutes, and it was just like literally like my diary pretty much on my notes app of like 30 bullet points. And this was right after game 2. It's like 11 o'clock at night. I'm trying to go to bed, and I honestly could not go to bed because I had all of these thoughts on my mind. And I'm like, I'll feel better if I just put them in my notes app and then look at it the next morning and then just go from there, I guess.
Yeah. That's very Ryan of you too.
Yeah, it really is, honestly. I'm definitely never going to keep a diary, but I definitely understand why people do.
I mean, that is your diary. It's just your sports diary, but it's still a diary.
It's my sports diary. I guess you could say I have a sports diary.
I mean, that's a good children's book.
It's like bromance notes, and then it's dodgeball stuff.
Yeah, and the auditory version.
Right now I have Impact Semi-Pro notes, Bromance Show notes, and then Dream notes.
And the Knicks diary.
And then the Knicks diary, yeah. But before we get into it, let's get into a little bit of banter. So I was listening to a podcast the other day, and they were talking about flights. So I want to talk to you about this.
Yeah.
What do you think the best seat is on a plane? Aisle, middle, or window?
Oh, that's tough. I don't travel much, so I'm a horrible opinion. I'll tell you what the worst fucking seat is: the middle, for sure. The middle. And then I guess it's personal preference after that. I'll probably take a window. If you want to try to take a nap, you at least have something to lean on. You still get a little bit of the room to your left, or right, depending on what side you're on. in the middle, there's nowhere for you to go. It's like my yeah, never mind. But yeah, no, I don't like
You're like,
yeah,
never mind.
yeah. It's like team. It's like you start to tell your parents a funny story, and then you remembered what happened was illegal, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I probably shouldn't say
Yeah, right. Hey, mom and dad, we did a bunch of drugs, and then oh wait, never mind. I can't say that. I gotta leave. Never
that.
mind.
I'll just go to my room.
Yeah, I'm gonna crown myself. Yeah, I personally middle is by far the worst because there's nowhere to go, and also I feel like if you're in the middle, you should get both armrests, and people don't respect that.
No, not at all.
Window isn't bad, but if you are a person that pees a lot, then window is terrible.
Ooh, that's true.
I don't, so I have a pretty good bladder just because of my job. So I could go on like a 6 hour flight, not get up a single time. And I could kill like a few waters, like a soda, whatever on the plane. I'm not going to have to use the bathroom. So I would say aisle for me.
That's super valid. I didn't even think of that because I pee a lot, so I would definitely roll with the aisle too. Uh,
But at the same time, though, aisle is like you have to get up constantly for that middle person or the window person. They're like, oh, I gotta go pee. Oh, I gotta blah blah blah. Oh, I gotta go to my bag. You're like, dude, I've gotten up like 8 times now. What the fuck?
yeah, that's also, but it's like me because I always have to pee. You know that. It's like I'm hydrated all the time. I always got to pee. So it's like I don't want to feel bad having to inconvenience other people with my inability to be able to hold in my piss. So I'll just take the aisle seat.
I feel that. And then one last question about travel. So, have you ever been on a plane where you guys land and everyone starts clapping?
Yeah.
It hasn't happened for me in a while, and I've probably have been on probably like 8 or 9 planes in the last 6 months, and hasn't happened once. But I've been on plenty of planes where that's happened.
I've only had it happen one time when I was like super young. And at the time I thought it was cool. Like I involved myself in the clapping. I'm like, dude, this is cool. Like everybody's happy in Disneyland. Like I'm part of something. Let me involve myself in this. And then I got older and I'm like, why the fuck are you clapping? You people are fucking idiots. Like, do you pat yourself on the back and give yourself a round of applause when you clock into work every morning? Like the only thing that happened was everything went according to protocol. That shouldn't be so that's not celebration worthy.
So it's been a while, but whenever that happens, in my head, for whatever reason, I'm just like, USA, USA.
That would be a very American time to start that chant up as we're flying through the air.
There's one guy at my job named Jerry, and his last name is definitely not Springer. But in my head, every time I've seen him, and I've worked with this guy for 6 years, I'm like, Jerry, Jerry,
Yeah.
Jerry.
You have to, and you have to say it in that voice too.
Have to.
That's one of those names that's just synonymous with the show.
Have to. But let's get into the NBA talk. So, Terrell, you're a Lakers fan.
Yeah.
I watch all basketball just like you do. Do we want to talk about the Lakers first, or do we want to talk about other series first?
Let's start with the Lakers.
Okay, let's talk about the Lakers first then. So, I think that the first question I have to ask you has to be Luka Doncic related. So it's been like 2.5 months since the trade. How do we feel about it? Are you still in disbelief about the trade? Did you wake up the next morning like everyone else and be like, what the fuck?
Bro, I'm still in disbelief now. Like that's still one of the craziest trades that happened in like any sport ever, especially since it was so kind of like quiet. Like nobody really knew that this was a thing. Usually there's rumors of trades that happen. There wasn't really anything. But yeah, I'm still in disbelief about it. It feels strange seeing Luka in a Lakers jersey. But I am very happy that he's here. I'm happy that he's going to be here to stay for a while, and I'm happy that LeBron is accepting his role as a not ball dominant player anymore. Because he still has a like he if he's willing to like settle into this role that he's playing now, I don't think he will. I think he's kind of about legacy at this point. But he could play for another like 5 years easily in this role that he's doing. He still has a lot of value that he can bring to a team. But it would have to involve him not being ball dominant. And I feel like Luka's one of the few people that they could have brought into this current Lakers situation that would force him to play second fiddle. Because it's like if it's between LeBron and Luca, the only thing that would make LeBron say LeBron is his ego at that point. And he's, has a very high IQ, so I don't think he's about that. But I'm happy with the way that everything is playing out. I'm happy that JJ, I think a lot of things happen to fall into place well for them, but I also think that it works out well that JJ and LeBron have a podcast together because JJ can kind of talk authentically with him and kind of give him the real, whether it's on the podcast, whether it's behind the scenes, whether it's in the huddle. We don't know, but they can actually have a discourse about it, which I feel like does help their on the court chemistry a bit too.
I agree with like 99% of the stuff that you just talked about, mentioned, whatever, except for the LeBron 5 year thing, because I don't think LeBron has it in him to like give 5-10 minutes off the bench when he's 45 years old.
No,
I just, yeah.
I don't think he has it in him. If he really wanted to and like found the motivation and found the drive to continue to play, then yeah, maybe. Like if Bronny was going to be a superstar and LeBron could play with him for a few years and Bronny would be the Luca of this team and LeBron could play with him, I feel like that would be motivation for him to keep playing. But he's not going to want to do this. He's been one of the greatest players of all time. He's not going to settle into a second fiddle role for anybody really other than his son. But yeah, probably.
I think physically he could definitely do it by 45. This man is a fucking beast. But yeah, I guess we'll see. Time will tell. You mentioned JJ Redick though. So how do we feel about JJ Redick as a head coach? I personally think that he is like easily a top 5 coach in the NBA.
Yeah. I mean, it's like you look at the Lakers rosters and what they've done in the past few years, and then you look at what JJ's been able to come in and do in his first year, especially with all the moving pieces. Because it's like, first of all, it's like when JJ came into this situation, it's like he probably knew that he was scoping out this situation for a while. So it's like he's planning around the pieces that they have. At no point did his plan involving coaching the Lakers also involve him coaching Luca. So it's like it's a lot of moving pieces that are being tossed at him. And he said what? He wanted to get 50 wins for the season. Like he did that. They finished third. It's his first year coaching. He doesn't have any experience in this. He didn't coach, college before this and worked his way up. It's like he kind of just hopped right into this position. And I think he did a really good job. I think he's good at kind of talking to everybody and holding everybody accountable, like in a respectable way. I feel like he commands respect, and I also feel like he listens too. I feel like he's just doing a very good job.
I totally agree. And I also think that he is a really good coach at making adjustments, whether it's in real time or at halftime. I think that's where a lot of other teams kind of struggle with, where they go into a game with like a certain play style and they're dead set. Like that's how they're going to want to lose that game.
Yeah, 100%. Because you and I talk about that all the time behind the scenes, how it's such a foolish strategy to just come in with, this is what we're going to do no matter what. It's like, what if you come in and then that doesn't work? You don't have a plan B or a plan C. And it's like, even at the high level, a lot of these professional coaches don't come in with a plan B or C. It's like, we're going to run plan A and this is all that we've got. And it's like, that's a foolish way to go about things. And it's like, so many teams don't make what would really be a small adjustment that needs to be made, which would make a world of difference, and they just don't do it for whatever reason. I don't know if it's ego. I don't know if they can't see it. I don't know if it's their assistant coach telling them, but they don't want to listen to him because they're the head coach. There's so many reasons that it could be that way, but yeah, he does make adjustments, which so many coaches don't do.
Yeah, totally. Like Tibbs doesn't make any adjustments really at all. He really gets killed in the second half. His rotations have been complete ass. He finally rolled out a rotation to start the fourth quarter in game 2, and it was a rotation that he has not played all season long. And my man rolls it out to start the fourth quarter in a game that they're losing at home. And I'm just like, bro, are you serious? This is when you want to try shit? Not in the regular season?
Oh, that's funny. Yeah,
that's that shit that irritates me, man. I don't care if obviously I do care, but like the Knicks lose game 2, okay, whatever. Like what? Fine, but that's when you want to roll shit out. Like that's crazy. Come on, man.
Yeah, that is wild for that to be like your debut of this new thing that you're trying out. And it's like he's the coach that I think about most when it's like, hey, this is my system. This is how we're going to play. It's like it's the Thibs system. That's what you're going to do. But it's like, again, what if your players get tired? Your players are going to get fucking tired playing that way.
You know who was another coach like that? And I don't think you watch football like this, but I think you might be able to guess this.
Let's go. I have no idea. Belichick.
Yep.
Oh wow. Okay.
Where he drafts players and he's like, they fit into my system. It's like, hey, you haven't really done a lot since Tom Brady left. And even his last few years, you guys didn't really do a whole heck of a lot either. And then he, got mutually let go from his team, and now he's coaching college. So it's like, huh, I wonder why no one wanted to hire you.
Yeah. I mean, and me not knowing anything about football definitely seems like an ego thing. Like, oh yeah, no, this is my system. We do things my way. I'm one of the best coaches ever. And then it's like, oh, look at that, one of the best quarterbacks ever left, and now your strategy is not that good anymore. Look at that.
Yeah, and it's honestly to bring it to dodgeball a little bit. It's just like any sport, like you gotta be willing to make adjustments. And I'll give you a perfect example. So last night we play Acid. We are up 3-1. They come back and they tie the series. And what do? Series is tied. I literally huddle us up. Don't care if it's going to be 30 seconds or, a minute. And I'm like, hey, these are adjustments we're going to make. And then let's, break from that rather than us wait till halftime. And like, I think we won like the next two games, but let's say I'm like, we'll make adjustments at halftime. And now we're losing at halftime. Like, okay, well, let's make adjustments for the adjustments. And then it's like, shit, man, we lost by like one game or two games. If I just, made adjustments a little bit sooner, we might have won the series.
Yeah, 100%. Because it's like it's the willingness to actually try to make an adjustment, but then it's like actually trying out different adjustments too. Because it's like we did a few things yesterday, and like you said, had we waited until halftime and then we're down, 2 rounds instead of one, it's like that can alter the rest of the game. And it's like, say we make 5 different adjustments, and the first 3 don't work. And then the second one does work, but then they make an adjustment to counter the adjustment. So then we go to this last thing that then works. It's like, that could have taken us 4 to 5 rounds to even figure out that that shit was going to work in the first place. It's like you don't have time to just sit around and waste and see if it's going to work. If what you're doing isn't working, try something new. That doesn't work, try something new. That doesn't work, try something that's not continually failing. And it's not even a hard concept to grasp, but so many people don't do it.
Yeah, it's a good option to have multiple options because if you just go in with like one game plan, then it's never going to work. And I'm not going to like mention like this team specifically, but you'll know who I'm talking about. But they would run like the same offense/defense for 3 seasons against us, and they didn't beat us a single time. And it's like, okay, well, you guys did a good job of getting me out, but we played you for 3 seasons and you never beat us at all, ever. So what was your goal here?
Yeah. And that it's literally a prime example. It's like, hey, the thing that you set out to do actually worked. But then what?
Yeah, and I'm just like, keep on going, boys. Like, I love this. Like, I don't care. Like, I'll step off the court if that means we're gonna win. And I kind of want to say one more thing about the Knicks, and then I promise I won't say anything more about them. But it's just like how Thibodeau, that end of the first quarter, ran a lineup without Karl-Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson. And you're just like, dude, can't do this, man. We need good offensive players on the court. One of those guys needs to be on the court at all times. We got to make different adjustments.
Yeah, because even if you are going to do and play around and fiddle with adjustments in the playoffs, you can't have both your superstars on the bench. Have one of them in the game. And it doesn't even matter who it is. Just plan around that one and keep one in.
That's why we got timeouts, baby. If they're tired, call them.
Yeah,
can't bring them with you to the next game.
And they're gonna get tired with the way that you play. So use them, keep them in. They're used to running.
Yeah, I totally agree. But let's move on to the next question. So, what are your thoughts on the series so far? The Lakers kind of look like shit game one. Timberwolves were hitting everything from the 3-point line. Game two, they make some adjustments, and now the series is tied 1-1.
Excuse me. I think it's looking promising moving forward. I'm there's a few things that I feel, but it's like one thing that I'm impressed with, but also upset with is Austin Reeves. Austin Reeves is developing into a really good playmaker. Like it's hard because it's like the role that they need him to perform in right now is not a playmaker. Luka's your playmaker. He's the ball handler. LeBron is a better playmaker than you. You would be the third best playmaker. You're out there to score. Like, I feel like he's trying too hard to facilitate and make plays, and he passes up on open shots that he should be shooting. And last year, he probably would have taken them because he knew, hey, LeBron is here. I have to be that dude. He's putting a lot of faith in me. He knows I can create. He knows I can score. So I have to score. And it's like, I don't know what it is. Maybe he's taking his foot off the gas a little bit now that Luka's here and he doesn't need to do it as much. And then if he doesn't, LeBron would be the second option. I don't know, but I feel like he was passing up on quite a few shots that he definitely should have taken, especially as one of the main scorers. But I think Luka might just have the Timberwolves number. He lit them up last year in the playoffs. He's lighting them up again this year in the playoffs. I like their chances moving forward. And it's also a shame that they have to play the Timberwolves because I'm a huge Anthony Edwards fan. Like, he made me a fan last year in the middle of the playoffs. Like, I liked him before. Dude, he's only 23. He has one of the craziest dunk mixtapes. If he were to retire today, he has one of the craziest dunks mixtapes of all time. Like, crazy bodies this dude has. He's stupid athletic. He's getting better every year. I love watching him. And it's tough because it's like he kind of got shut down last year in the playoffs. They just doubled him and he couldn't do much with it. So we'll see how it goes for him. I don't think it's going to go good for him this series. I think the Lakers are still going to win in 6, but I'm happy. I'm hopeful. I'm looking forward to the finals.
Did you see that quote that he had said to a fan the other day?
What, my dick is bigger than yours?
Yeah, he's like, I got 200 M's and my dick is bigger than yours. And that shit was hilarious, dude.
I didn't hear the 200 M's part. That's funny. Just some random dude, or was he talking to like everybody in a general area?
No, I'm pretty sure it was one person. But honestly, it would have been even funnier if that dude actually had more money than Anthony Edwards and he just like pulled his dick out and he's like, actually, I think I got you beat.
But the actually guy in real time.
Yeah, that would have been hilarious. But now you're right. I like Anthony Edwards a lot. The Knicks were like notorious for everyone being like, oh man, they have all these assets, they have all these picks, they have a surplus, like they gotta consolidate, somewhere. And there was two players who I really wanted the Knicks to go after, and Anthony Edwards was one, and Devin Booker was two.
Both solid options.
Yes. So, but to bring it back to the Lakers series, so the Lakers tied it up 1-1. What adjustments do you think that you saw the Lakers make between game 1 and game 2?
It's tough because I didn't get a chance to watch the full second game. I watched the highlights, and you don't really get a full synopsis of what's going on with the highlight. But again, in the first game, the Timberwolves were just making everything, which is tough. It's like you can't plan around that, and you just have to assume that it's not always going to be like that. But I don't really know. It's kind of hard to tell without having been able to see the second game. It's like I watched the first quarter of the second game, and it seemed like they were definitely being more aggressive on the offensive end. LeBron was actually hitting shots. Yeah, I don't know. It would be kind of hard to speak on the differences without having seen both the games.
So I have two stats for you.
Okay.
Game 1, the Timberwolves shoot 21 of 42 from the 3-point line. So they shoot 50% from the 3-point line.
That's insane.
Did I say game 2 or game 1?
Game 1.
Okay. Game 2, the Timberwolves shoot 5 of 25 from the 3-point line, shoot 20%.
That's wild.
And that first game, I believe they allowed I don't know the exact stat or how they even measured it, but it was like they allowed 27 wide open threes.
Mm-hmm.
They only scored 85 points this game, so their threes weren't falling. They really weren't shooting as much from the three, but I felt like defense was really what kind of carried the Lakers in that second game. Because if you look at it, the Timberwolves won game 1, 117-95. The Timberwolves lost game 2, 85-94. So the Lakers scored less points and won the second game.
Yeah, I mean, even with those stats that you just threw out, it's like if they got 27 wide open free throws in game 1, that's more free throws, 3-pointers. That's more 3-pointers than they even attempted the entire second game. So
yeah,
give any team of mediocre 3-point shooters, 27 wide open threes, they're gonna fucking kill you. You can't do that against professional athletes. Um, but yeah, it's like I would like to like actually know what caused a lot of those shots to be so wide open. I don't know if it was defensive breakdowns. I don't know if it was laziness because that's a lot of wide open shots to get. Um, but yeah, it seems like that would definitely have to be the difference. Because that's a lot of 3-pointers, and that's a big discrepancy between how many they made last game and how many 25 to 50% in one game. Like that's half of the shooting percentage.
Yep. And also that first game, so their role players really kind of went off. So Anthony Edwards, he only had 22 points, but he actually did not lead his team in scoring. It was Jaden McDaniels with 25, and then they had guys like Naz Reid coming off the bench, and he scored 23 points, and he shot 6 of 9 from the three. And then game 2, Randall had 27 points. McDaniels only had 8, and then their bench, no one came off the bench scoring double digits.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for the Timberwolves if they can't consistently have people show up in a way that they're not supposed to, if that makes any sense. It's like you, especially in the playoffs, it's like you need somebody to step up that's not one of your superstars, and you need pretty much one of them to do that every game because you know the production that you're going to get out of a Luka. You know pretty much the production that you're going to get out of an Anthony Edwards. It's like you don't know what you're going to get from Naz Reid on a daily basis. It's like he's pretty good. He's consistent. He won 6th man of the year, but it's like he could go out there and get 8 points. He could go out there and get 38 points. You don't know, and that's kind of hard to plan around.
For sure. So do we have any thoughts moving forward? So how many games do we think this series lasts?
Probably 6.
And who do you have?
I think the Lakers are going to win.
I predicted the Lakers to win. I didn't do a pod for every series, but I predicted only one upset between all the series, and it was the Clippers upsetting the Nuggets. I have the Rockets beating the Warriors. I know a lot of people had it, flip-flopped, but I do think that the Lakers win, and you are a Lakers fan, so you're not going to like hearing this, but I think it's in the best interest of the NBA for the Lakers to advance in the playoffs.
What are you trying to say?
I think you know what I'm trying to say because the Warriors could match up with the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals. They're on opposite sides.
I think that what you're saying is some bullshit, but I'll play along and I'll entertain it. The rates have been extremely low. They have been implement a bunch of new changes, get eyeballs on the sport. It's why they have the play in. It's why they're trying new things to get people to watch. And it's like, I don't know the reason on why viewership is kind of tanked. I feel like there's a lot of different reasons for it. But I wouldn't. You're not wrong with what you're saying. I don't appreciate this conspiracy bullshit that's going on. But I would say you're not wrong with the NBA's best interest wanting, the biggest stars on the biggest platform.
For sure. I do think that there are a few things of why maybe the numbers are down, like illegal streams, people just losing interest in the NBA. I think there's a lot of factors, but let's touch on what you just kind of mentioned though with the plan. Do you like the plan?
Yeah.
You like it?
Mm-hmm.
I think it forces teams to really make that decision like, yo, are we tanking or are we going to make like this trade that if the play-in tournament didn't exist, we wouldn't make, but let's try to go for it.
Yeah. And it also just gives, like you said, it's like it gives teams hope. It's like if the goal was to tank, but then you get offered a glimmer of hope that you might be able to take the playoffs, it's like, well, fuck it, dude. Like, let's try to make the playoffs then. Like, if we could get in there, anything can happen once we're actually in. And it's like, it's hard because it's not football where it's any given Sunday. It's like usually the better team will win a series of 7, but it's the playoffs. Anything can happen. Crazier shit has happened. But yeah, that makes sense. I didn't even really think about that as far as the play-in.
The only thing so far that I don't like, and it seems like it's been a pattern, is it seems like the same teams are in the play-in year in, year out, no matter what. Like the Warriors have been in it, I think, every single season. The Heat have been in it most seasons, and so have like the Hawks and the Magic.
Yeah, but that's not their fault, though.
I get that, but I think it's going to be like kind of not like condescending, but like kind of repetitive. Because like let's say like 2 years from now, it's like, yo, the Heat are one of the only teams to either make the playoffs or make the play in, like, 5 of 6 seasons. Like they're always like the 7 or 8 seed, pretty much is what I'm saying.
I don't think it's going to get redundant at all. I feel like it has been redundant, and it will be for like maybe 2 to 3 years, where you'll get a span where it's like, okay, this team, if you look at their roster 3 years from now, or 3 years ago till now, it's a similar roster, it's a similar core. So it's like I feel like that's why they'll hover around a similar standing, but that's not always going to be the case.
I
And
think that I think that kind of deters teams from that though, because if they're like, yo, we're constantly in the play-in, like that's purgatory. You either want to be in the playoffs, in a top 6 seed, or you want to be in the lottery and have a good pick.
wait, what do you mean? You said
Like
it's story. How's
if
it story?
if I'm like a Kings fan, right? The Kings
Yeah.
are always like that 7 to like 10 range, right? Where they're always in a play-in. I'm sitting here and I'm like, dude, can we just be really fucking bad and get a high pick and hopefully we hit? Or can we make a big trade and constantly be in the play in or the playoff games rather than the play in and then play in the tournament to get into the playoffs?
Okay. But that's
Yeah,
just going to be the plight with like a mid team like that, though. Most teams are mid. There's like the top tier, then there's the bottom tier, and then there's everybody else in the middle. And I feel like that's where everybody else just kind of falls into.
I think the teams that make the playoffs. So like I'll talk about the East. So like I think the Celtics and the Cavs are in their own tier, like tier one for sure.
Yeah.
I would say tier two is like the Knicks because they have the talent to do it, but I don't think they have the coaching, and it doesn't really seem like they have like that New York grit this season. But I would put them in tier two. I would also probably put I think the Pacers because the Pacers have been a really scrappy team, and they're a team that you really don't want to run into the playoffs. And I think out of respect, you would have to put the Bucks there with Giannis, even though I think that they're getting first rounded again this year.
I don't think you could put them in that tier. Didn't they? Did they get swept last year too?
No Giannis in the playoffs last season, but I don't think that that really would have mattered because I did predict them to lose last year in the first round.
Yeah.
So, and then I would say that third tier is like the Magic. I put the Pistons there. I think that they've shown it so far. Um, I guess the Heat too. Yeah,
Wait,
I feel like there's really three tiers in the playoffs. That's kind of just my whole point, though. I think that there's really three teams in the playoffs, and that third tier I would never really want to be in.
yeah. No, I feel you because it's like there's such a large discrepancy between the gap in the tiers. Because it's like a tier three team, it's like I don't think they're ever really going to be able to compete with a tier one team.
No, and that's what I'm saying. Like it's just like for football, like I think it was like 2021 and the Eagles like going into the last game of the regular season, they they benched Carson Wentz, who was fucking terrible, which I wanted them to do it like multiple games beforehand because they drafted Jalen Hurts the season before. They played Jalen Hurts for the first half, and then they played their third string quarterback for the second half. And so many fans were upset. And actually, Doug Peterson, the coach who led them to the Super Bowl 2 years before, he got fired. And I'm just like, dude, he did exactly what you should have done. Like, why would you want to win this last game and make your pick worse? You're not in the playoffs. See what you have in Jalen Hurts, and then lose the game.
Yeah.
And then lose the game. Do you have any more thoughts on the Lakers series with the Timberwolves, though?
Um, thoughts? I have a lot of hopes. I
A lot of hopes.
I
Okay. Let's go from that then. So you said that the Lakers would win in six, right?
Yeah.
What does the second round look like?
Who would they be playing the winner of? What's here?
So they would be playing the winner of the Rockets Warriors series.
So they will be playing the Rockets. Um,
Well, it's 1-1 right now.
it's 1-1 right now, but also Jimmy's hurt. How long is he going to be out for?
That's a good question. I don't know, but this is kind of what I was talking about beforehand, where I'm like, hey, That would do numbers.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it definitely would, but it's also just shitty because it's like, we were talking about this behind the scenes. I'm a big fan of Jimmy Butler in the playoffs in particular. So I was excited to see how that was going to go, and that would be a fun matchup. But because I just saw the fall that he took actually today, and it looked pretty bad. Like he fell super hard. So I haven't seen any updates on how long he's going to be out for. Um, but as far as them matching up with the Rockets, who's on the Rockets team? Who's their star?
Their star,
Yeah.
Jalen Green, looked really good game too. Like
Okay.
really good.
Oh, very good game too.
He looked really good. And then they have other guys like Fred VanVleet. I know like he's not the first guy that most people would think of, but he's your point guard.
He's
He had,
over.
yeah, he has potential. He has plenty of experience. He has an NBA ring. People forget about that.
Yeah, it's championship pedigree.
They have guys like Sengun, who was an all-star this year. They have Dylan Brooks, who you can say what you want about him, but I think he is solid. They have I always get the Thompson brothers confused. So they have Amen Thompson, who is really fucking good. And a lot of people are saying that that was a dirty play on Jimmy, but it wasn't. It was a normal closeout. They have Jabari Smith, who was like the third pick 3 years ago
Mm-hmm.
in the draft. They have Tari Eason, who's solid. They have Cam Whitmore, who is from Villanova, like that got drafted 2 years ago.
Okay.
Solid. He just doesn't get minutes, but he's solid. And then they have guys like Adams coming off the bench, who is good, has playoff experience, is like that physical dude. And they have Reed Shepard, who was like a super early pick this past season. I'm trying to remember where he got picked. Reed Shepard, draft pick. He was the third overall pick.
Oh wow.
Yeah, third overall pick, and they got that in a trade. But I'm trying to remember who they got that from. I'll have to look it up later. But yeah, do we have any thoughts though on other series? So like OKC is being the absolute shit out of the Grizzlies right now, 2-0.
Yeah. I mean, they're probably just gonna sweep them. OKC is a really, really fucking good team. And the Grizzlies are a good team too. Not as good as they were last year. I selfishly would like to see the Grizzlies season continue just so I could get some more Ja Morant celebrations to after, because you never know what he's gonna do. He's fun, but yeah, OKC is fantastic, dude. They're a really good team.
I pulled a few Ja Morant celebrations last night.
Yeah, I know. I saw. I was happy to hop in on the grenade one.
The grenade one,
Yeah,
then the sniper one.
you got to do that in the middle of a game. I feel like that's the only way that could work. You have to support somebody and then do it in the middle of the game. And if they throw it at you, fuck it, dude. That's the price you have to pay for pulling such a ballsy move.
That's true. That's true. Do you know who Heat is from Delaware? Or I'm sorry, Maryland?
Is he on Precision?
Yes.
Yeah.
So he used to do like breakdancing and all this other shit. So Heat's my boy. I love when he like runs at someone from the back line because he does all this weird shit. But it's so funny, and he doesn't like obviously he does it on purpose, but I don't think he realizes he does it. But it's so fucking funny to watch. And this was like 6 years ago. So before we played them in a co-ed tournament, I'm like, yo, I'm legit gonna break dance in front of Heat. No one throw the ball at me. I'm not gonna throw the ball at you guys. I'm literally gonna break dance and from my ass throw the ball at him. So the other team like honored it the first game, and I literally like break dance, did a spin on my ass, and threw the ball at him. And he's on the back line, and he's like, "Oh, what the fuck? Y'all are gonna let him do this to me?"
So I'm assuming everybody in the gym knew about it except.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's gotta be funny for him. Like, oh, what a sign of respect, dude.
Yeah, I love he's one of my boys. We jersey swapped years ago. One of my boys for sure. But yeah, that's not gonna be a series. They're gonna get 4-0 swept. The Nuggets Clippers. Do we have any thoughts on that series?
I think I don't know. I go back and forth. What's the series at right now?
1-1. So the Nuggets came back and stole game one.
Mm-hmm. Who are there? Because Kawhi is back, right? And Kawhi's been balling.
Dude, Kawhi had such a good game too. I need to pull this up and talk about this because it was insane. Like he was like vintage Kawhi.
Are there any notable injuries on either side right now?
No,
Okay.
Kawhi Leonard, 15 of 19 from the field, 39 minutes, 39 points, 4 of 7 from the three, 3 rebounds, 5 assists.
Dude, 15 of 19 is crazy.
Insane. He looked like Kawhi from like 7 or 8 years ago, like before all the surgeries.
Dude, it's tough because Kawhi is like one of the most slept on superstars of all time. Like people are very quick to forget how first of all, this man's mid range is 99 always. It's unstoppable, it's unguardable. He moves around super weird, but you can't really stop what he's doing. And then on top of that, he's one of the best defenders in the league. He's the claw, dude. Like he's a true two-way player, elite two-way player.
I'm gonna sound like I'm really patting myself on the shoulder here, but when the Spurs played the Heat, like way back in the day, I think it was like 2014. I was telling one of the guys at my oh shit. I was telling one of the guys at my job, I was like, yo, Kawhi is one of the best players in the series. He's the best player on the Spurs for sure. And he's like, what? And I'm like, I'm telling you right now, he's so fucking underrated. It's not even funny.
Yeah. I mean, even to this day, he continues to be underrated. It's hard to properly rate somebody that's always hurt and can't play, but
This is a little bit of NFL breaking news, and I don't think you'd have an opinion on this, but Cam Ward went number 1, drafted by the Titans, which was like a no-brainer.
Mhm.
The Jaguars just traded for the number 2 pick in the draft.
What pick did they normally, or what pick did they originally have?
So they missed the playoffs. So I'm going to say they had a top 10 pick, but I think they were at like 7 or 8, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
So I'm going to assume that if they're trading for the number 2 pick, they're going to draft Travis Hunter. And we'll see if I'm right in like a few minutes, but that's crazy.
What did they give up for the pick?
Hasn't came out yet.
Yeah, I don't know anything about football. I don't even know who Cam Ward is.
So Cam Ward, he was a quarterback for Miami. Big boy, like big boy, big
Okay.
prospect.
Is Travis Hunter, is he the two-way player or is he the quarterback?
2-way player. So I think they traded for him.
What do you think he's going to play?
I really don't know because the Jaguars fired their coach from last year and they have a new head coach this season. I think that he could play both sides of the ball, but this guy that they hired to be their head coach is Liam. His name is Liam Cohen. He's from the Buccaneers, who had a really good offense the last few years, and a lot of teams wanted to hire him. So if they're moving up this high in the draft to draft him, I'm gonna have to assume that number 1, he's getting drafted, and number 2, that he's gonna play offense. So you're not trading to the number 2 pick to draft him to only play corner or mainly corner and sometimes wide receiver. I don't think that would make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
They had the 5th pick overall, so they traded the 5th pick, the 36th pick, and the 126th pick, and their first pick for next season. Wow, they went all in for the number 2 pick, the 104 pick, and the second 100 or the 200th overall pick, the second 100th.
So it's like with the shit that we talked about earlier, you would respect a move like this, right? Like them going all in.
Yeah, they're like, yo, I think this is our guy. He's obviously going to play offense, in my opinion. They have Brian Thomas. They have a pretty solid quarterback who has had like a lot of different coaches / offensive coordinators, and Trevor Lawrence. So I like this for them. If I'm a Jaguars fan, I'm excited.
Mm-hmm.
I would be excited. Let's go back to basketball though. I'll mention who they pick when they pick them. The Lakers, Wolves. We already talked about that. Rockets, Warriors. We talked about that. All right, let's go to the East then. So the Cavaliers are playing the Heats. That series is tied 1. Or no, I'm sorry. The Cavaliers are up 2-0. The Heat, they almost came back yesterday. Yeah, they almost came back yesterday. It was a little scrappy. I think the Cavaliers should sweep them though, 4-0, or maybe a gentleman sweep like 4-1.
Yeah, I'll give them 4-1. I think the Heat are going to get at least one game, but they're not going to be able to compete.
The Celtics Magic, so I think this will be another quick conversation. So I think the Celtics should probably win 4-0, maybe 4-1. The Magic were showing a little bit of fight last night, but they're just overmatched.
Yeah, they're outgunned, and it's like pretty much any team that runs up against the Celtics is going to be outgunned. Which is, they're just a really good team, dude. It's like I'm a Lakers fan, so I don't like the Celtics, but I'm also unbiased about this shit. And it's like they're a good, fun basketball team to watch. And Jaylen Brown in particular has gotten so much fucking better, dude. Like I'm really impressed with him. Like Tatum gets a lot of the accolades and the credit, and also a lot of the hate that they catch. But Jaylen Brown has been one of the unsung heroes of their team.
I want to see the stat line from last night because that first game for game one, he did not have a very good game. And we were playing dodgeball when this happened. Um, Jaylen Brown last night had 36 points, 12 of 19 from the field, and oh shit, never mind. Jason Tatum, he got injured. He didn't play last night. He had that wrist injury. I knew
Okay.
that. So I mean, they won without him. Porzingis had 20 points. Derek White had 17. Pritchard had 14 off the bench. Yeah, they only played 8 guys last night.
It's tough because it's like I feel like even if you took Jason Tatum away from their team, they still have one of the best rosters, if not the best roster in basketball.
Paolo looked good last night, 32. Paolo's so good. He needs more offensive help.
What'd you say? How who?
Paolo Banchero.
Oh, dude, he's fantastic.
Yeah, they're definitely missing Jalen Suggs this series. I talked about it on one of my solo pods, but they're missing Jalen Suggs on offense because he is a shot creator and he is a good facilitator, but they're really missing him on defense.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just also hard because it's like, and it's like defense and offense go hand in hand. It's like they're missing him defensively, but they're also missing the points that he brings to the table too. Because it's like the NBA now is just so every team is offensively so high powered that you need to be able to match whatever amount of points they're going to put up to be able to have a chance at victory. And it's like if you take 15 to 20 points away every single game, you're really putting yourself in a tough spot.
Yeah, no, I agree. Tweet from Adam Schefter just now. Jaguars are expected to play their first round draft pick, Travis Hunter, so they drafted him on
Sure.
offense and defense. They will onboard him by giving him a heavy dose on the wide receiver position while still playing him at his more natural position on defense. So he's playing both sides of the ball.
That's pretty cool. Does anybody in the NFL like currently do that besides like special teams?
Nope.
That's interesting. Why is that? Like just because the risk of injury or just fatigue?
Um, that's a good question. I feel like if you're a really good offensive player, then like save all your energy, exert all of your energy on one side of the ball. For yeah, I'm curious, man. I feel like if you move up that high up, he has to be more of an offensive player than a defensive player.
Well, I mean, they did say that they were going to start him there.
I think it's a really good threat, and I'm definitely curious to see how he would, compete against actual NFL players on defense rather than just college players. And this is not to shit on him because he fucking won the Heisman. He's a really good player.
Yeah, no, but it's a legitimate concern. It's like it's a big step up in competition, and it's like, yeah, you were able to torch them, but it's the big boys.
Yeah. Let's move on to the next series though. So Pacers Bucks. I personally think that the Pacers will win this. I don't care that I don't care that Damian Lillard came back and played game two. He obviously was not in game shape, even though Doc Rivers played him 37 minutes after having a blood clot a month prior.
Dude, Doc Rivers is ridiculous, bro.
This man should not be coaching an NBA team.
We about this behind the scenes about just what a fucking idiot he is, dude.
He's such a clown. He's like, I deserve more credit for even getting the series to 3 games. And you're like, that's how you look at that? What the fuck?
I mean, losing?
Yeah.
You lost a little bit less worse than the other losers. Good job, guy.
Yeah. It's like, hey, all these other coaches, like, yeah, they lost a series, but did they get 3 wins?
Yeah, they were in Cancun, but were they in Cancun 3 weeks later than us? You idiots!
Yeah. We went to Cancun after losing game 7. They went to Cancun after losing game 5. There's a big difference.
They were already out of Cancun by the time we got there.
Uh, I feel bad for Bucks fans because I feel like every single season prior to them winning the NBA Finals and then after them winning the NBA Finals, everyone's like, "Yo, when is Giannis getting traded? When is Giannis getting traded?" And I actually feel like this is the first season where that's kind of warranted.
Is it though?
Yes.
What? Bro,
Yes.
I don't agree at all. And I'll say this: I don't feel bad for Bucks fans, but I do feel bad for Sean because he's the only Bucks fan that I've ever actually known that lives over here. Because it's like, bro, they did the right thing in getting pieces around him. It's not their fault, the organization's fault that they brought Dame here and then he just couldn't play. Because it's like if you look at them on paper, they should be a good team. If it wasn't for injury, no. If it wasn't
N-
because it's like you said, the Bucks would have lost last year anyway had Giannis not been hurt. I don't think so. And then it's like if Dame was here right now and playing against the Pacers that they're playing against, and he was healthy, it wouldn't even be a question if it's going to be a series. It's
I
like
still think it would have ran him out of the gym. And I'll say this too.
the
I'll like
Pacers.
still run him out of the gym. I don't care if the Pacers are the 8 seed and the Bucks are the 1 seed. They do not match up well against each other, like at all. At all. The Bucks are an old team. They don't want to run the ball up the court. The Pacers are more than willing to lose a game or two just to tire everyone else out on the court for to extend the series to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games. It does not matter. Um, they do not match up well. The Pacers have a lot of like scrappy guys to throw at like Giannis. Like they have like Aaron Neesmith, they have Nemhart, they have Tyrese Halliburton, they have Siakam, they have a good stretch five in Miles Turner. They have Obi Toppin. Like they are deep. They have TJ McConnell coming off the bench. They have stretches where TJ McConnell is running out there with the starters, and they're like, yeah, we'll keep Tyrese on the bench. We're good.
Yeah. And it's like you're right. They do have extreme depth, but it's like it's a bunch of depth of like decent role players.
So who do you think is the depth on the Bucks?
They don't really have much depth at all.
And that's why I'm saying that I don't think they match up well at
Yeah,
all against each other.
I can get your idea and theory of them kind of like bleeding them out, like, fuck it, let's lose a game to be able to get them more tired in game 5, 6, 7. But it's like, is that like longevity wise, you can't do that for every series in the playoffs.
No, you could do it for a game or two though. Like that's
Yeah.
how they beat the Knicks last year. Like they full court pressed Jalen Brunson the entire time. So when it comes time to game 7, like he's fucking beat. And he broke his hand, but he was beat before he broke his hand.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I still don't think a team full of role players would beat a team full, not full of, but they're two of the best players in the league. Dame, I don't know if you could still say he's one of the best players in the league, especially coming off the situation that he's coming off of now. But it's like, I don't know. I have a tough time seeing the Bucks being healthy and then losing.
I honestly don't think that Dame is a top 10 player in the NBA anymore. I think he's too old. And he's never been known as like a two-way player, but I think he's very easily to I think he's very vulnerable on defense, like
Yeah.
extremely vulnerable.
He's exploitable. It's like there's certain people when they're on the floor, it's like, okay, every time they're out there, we should attack this mismatch. It's kind of a mismatch just by default of them being out there. And he's one of those people. It's like either just ISO him or get him in a pick and roll, make him work, get physical with him. But yeah, I would agree with you. He's definitely not a top 10 player anymore. Because it's like he's top 10 scorer. Yeah, I think so. This very second, probably not. But he was never known as a two-way player to begin with. He just canceled it out with his fantastic scoring.
Yeah, exactly. And, spreading the floor and shooting threes from like 10, 15, 20 feet behind the line.
Yeah. And then it's like you start getting older and you can't move around. And now your defense is astronomically worse than your already bad defense was before. It's like it gets hard.
And you had a blood clot and your coach is Doc Rivers.
Yeah. And you're playing 30 minutes on your welcome back game to the playoffs.
Yeah, that's when, like I said, like you don't have depth, so it's like cool. Is Kyle Kuzma gonna beat us? No. Is Brooke Lopez gonna beat us? No. Hey, Bobby Portis, why don't you get 28 points off the bench? You're still gonna lose the game anyways. And that's exactly what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I said, they could be the 1-8 matchup, and I would still predict the Bucks to get upset. And then we'll close with the Knicks Pistons. I already talked about it a little bit. I'm releasing an episode tomorrow where I went solo, but I want to hear your thoughts on this. And honestly, it doesn't matter that I'm here. If you want to kill him, kill him.
What, just on the Knicks?
Yeah.
I like the Knicks. I think they're doing okay. I think they're going to have a decent run. Like you said before, it's like you tiered them. I think they're like right at the top of that second tier. I don't feel like they're quite as good as they were last year. But I think they're doing good. I think they'll win probably in 5 games, maybe 6 games, but probably 5 games. And I don't know how far they're going to go because who would they then play in their next matchup? Like, who are they playing the winner of?
Celtics.
Yeah, no, and that's where I believe their journey is probably going to stop because I don't think they're going to be able. They match up decently with the Celtics, but it's like the Celtics just have more firepower, and they're not going to be able to keep up with it. And if Thibs is going to run everybody into the ground, they're definitely not going to be able to keep up with it.
I have the Celtics playing the Thunder in the finals, and I have the Thunder beating them. That's my prediction.
Okay. That's not a bad prediction. I feel like the Thunder are literally the only team that can match up with and beat the Celtics.
I actually don't agree with that. I think that the Cavaliers could do the same thing because they play the same exact game.
Um, that is, I for whatever reason, because they're both in the East, I never even really thought of that. I was thinking of like matches for the finals. But yeah, no, they definitely match up well too.
There's one big difference between the Cavaliers and the Celtics, though, and it's that the Celtics have a stretch five center and the Cavaliers do not. They have two like big men with Evan Mobley, who actually just won Defensive Player of the Year, and Jared Allen, and they just crashed the shit out of the boards.
Yeah, that is true. And I guess it's kind of like pick your what you want for a big man because it's like a lot of shit revolves around big men now. And it's like, are you going to have a traditional old school big man or are you going to have a stretch? Um, and I love watching those matchups because it's like talking about adjustments. It's like, who's going to make the adjustment first? One of you guys is going to get fucking exposed in this matchup. Who's going to get exposed? And then what are you going to do about it? And then the chess match begins from there. But that's an exciting matchup.
Yeah, I agree, and obviously, I think that the honestly, I think that both teams have very good head coaches. So I do think that will be the Eastern Conference Finals, and then I have the Celtics advancing out of that just because I feel like if it's going to be a series where they win or lose by shooting, that the Celtics have more shooters.
Yeah. More shooters and better shooters.
So I'm assuming that you have the Lakers losing in the second round then? They're playing the winner of the Rockets Warriors.
What are you talking about? When did I say that? No, dude, I have the Lakers winning the finals.
You have Lakers winning the finals?
What the fuck are you talking about, dude?
Oh, shit.
Anything about them making an early exit. I don't even think they're making an exit. I think this is the year. And this is definitely me being a little bit biased for sure. Because
man. Bro, what strand are you smoking right now?
What you mean? I'm sorry.
God damn. All right.
Why? Who do you don't think they're making it out of the second round? I don't even like how much you're thinking about the Warriors Rockets matchup because what team is going to give them more trouble between the two of those teams, and then what team would actually have the opportunity to beat them?
So that's what I'm thinking right now. If it comes down to talent, I think that the Timberwolves would win the series against the Lakers. I just think that the Lakers are going to win the series because I think they're going to get calls, and I think JJ Redick is a better head coach. Oh, that's so the only reason why I have them winning.
Really fucking coming out now. The truth comes out an hour and a half of the podcast.
But in the second series, they might get their ass beat by the Rockets, or the Rockets might just lose off of not having any experience whatsoever. I think it could go one way or the other.
How often does a completely inexperienced team come in and just shit on a team full of experience?
I just think that the Rockets have. I know that they're the 2 seed right now, but it feels like they are playing with house money because a lot of those guys are young.
Yeah.
It's not like a team like um hmm, let's say that the Warriors beat the Rockets and the Warriors are playing the Lakers. I think for the timetable, the Warriors would be like way more. Uh, I'm trying to think of the word. I think the Warriors would be like way more. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Like in urgency mode.
Yeah, I guess that they'd be more urgent. Like their time window is like way smaller than the Rockets, like way smaller, because the Rockets could be doing this, in my opinion, for like the next 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, you're right, because it's like the Warriors' time window is right now. Like before Steph leaves, which is going to be within a few years. It's like you just got Jimmy. This is the time to do it. But it's like I don't like that your reasoning for the Rockets going forward is that, oh, they're just playing with house money. It doesn't matter.
They honestly are.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. They are, but that's not the reason that they're, because it's like, at what point does that excuse not work anymore? Like, oh, fuck it, dude, they're in the finals now. Like, they're playing with house money. Like, it doesn't matter if they lose. The Celtics have way more going against them than they do the Rockets.
I think that excuse is over after the first round.
Okay.
I think it's after the first round. I
I
was
got
just gonna,
just switching my camera. My phone's about to die, so I'm just switching it up.
you're good. I was just gonna close with something. Ah, man, you just mentioned something, and I wanted to close with it. Uh, shit.
Wait, I fucked it up by mentioning it, or I'm you
No, 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 no. You said something good, and I wanted to close with it, but now I'm kind of blanking.
what house money? Lakers in seven finals. Lakers not losing in the second round.
No.
Um, they need to win right now. The Warriors are not playing with house money. You said it only.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, okay. 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 So we'll close with this. What do you think the Lakers' time window is with LeBron?
To win with LeBron on the team.
Yeah,
2 years.
2 years.
Yeah, at the very most. Like this year, and when I say 2 years, I mean this year, and then maybe next year, depending on what he looks like. But as of right now, I wouldn't be willing to say anything more than next year at the most.
I
He's
agree
not
with that.
not the same, dude. And it's like it's hard because it's like again, I like watching basketball. I like being a fan of greatness, and it's like LeBron is the greatest player I've ever watched play. And it's hard to come to terms with the fact that he's not the same dude, especially now that he's playing for my team. I'm happy, but it's also sad seeing him not be the same guy anymore. But yeah, it can't go past a year.
Was there any part of you that was like happy, but also a little upset that the Lakers signed LeBron and that what was it 2019 off season, right? 2018.
It was I was definitely happy because LeBron was still like a real force at that point. But also a little confused because it's like, hey guys, like he's not a spring chicken. Like he's in his mid oh shit. Sorry, am I still recording?
Yeah, you're so good.
Oh my bad, dude. I feel old. Uh,
Just two dads out here struggling right now.
like struggling to figure out how to work this phone. Um but what I don't even remember what I was just saying. What was I saying? What was the question?
The question was like, there's a lot of baggage that comes with LeBron. Like, obviously, you're happy that they signed him, but was there any part of you that was like, damn, we signed LeBron, but he's also going to want to coach the team and be the GM
Yeah.
and play all 5 positions?
Hmm. Yeah, and it's like I mean, we got to see a little bit of that in his time here. That I didn't mind because it's like we've seen how it goes when he does that shit before. It's like if you can get some pieces around him, it's like he can always be on a championship contender team. So it's like I wasn't worried about that. I was worried about the age and how much investment we're pouring into somebody that's not really going to be here for the long term. Because it's like questionable trades. When they got Russell Westbrook, I was like, that's a big question mark. When they got Melo, that's a big question mark. And these players that I like, that I think are good players, but not with this fucking team that we're trying to construct. Because it's like we talk about this all the time. There's roles. What role are you going to fit into? It's just redundant.
They totally fucked up by that Russell Westbrook trade because it's like, dude, you guys won the finals the year before off of defense, and you're trading for Russ. Like, that's not the move that like. I don't think that's a. We talked about this the other day, but I don't think he's a winning player anymore.
No,
He's a total mystery box.
yeah, he's a real loose cannon. He can win you a game and he can lose you a game. He can win you a series and lose you a series. And It's like again, it's like you look at the comparing styles of point guard. It's like we got rid of Rondo, we got Westbrook. It's like those are like the two most opposite play styles ever.
Yeah, I forgot that they had Rondo.
Yeah, no, and he was a big part of the success when they won too. And then they fucking got rid of him. They got rid of Dwight. I was real upset about that.
JaVale.
Yeah, dude, I fuck with JaVale.
Who else was on that team? I'm trying to remember. The fuck, man, what was it? The Mickey Mouse bubble team?
Stop calling it that. It was fucking year it was. You know who won. It's not a Mickey Mouse bubble.
We talked about this, but I do think all the stars aligned for them, especially that season.
Yeah. Yeah, I can agree. Especially with LeBron approaching, because was that the year he was coming back off of an injury?
I don't even remember, dude. That was like literally half a decade ago, and at this point.
Yeah, because I think he was just coming off of like his first major injury, and it's like he kind of needed the time off to be able to rest and recover. So it's like he got the time off. They didn't make the playoffs, I think, the year beforehand while he was hurt, so he had more time off to recover. Then he came back in, and then all the shit happened. So it was a perfect storm for them to be able to win. But to try to say that it's a Mickey Mouse fictional championship is where I draw the line with your mean comments.
I had to. We were talking about it earlier. I said save it for the pod. But that's pretty much it, man. I want to try and catch up on this next game. But any closing thoughts? Any plugs you want to plug?
No, I got nothing I could think of. Enjoy your next game. I'm sorry to hold you up from them for so long. I'm about to go watch the Knicks too.
No, you're good. I want to say one thing. Kelsey, Kelsey was upset about this. Terrell was telling me about this the other day. The whole idea behind Bromance was I want to do this with John, and unfortunately, he can't make a lot of the episodes just because he's a dad and he's got a lot of stuff going on in life. But the idea was to do it with John because John and I have been best friends since seventh grade, and I'm 29 years old. So the idea was behind all that was actually Kelsey, because Kelsey, that one draft season after John and I were talking in the parking lot, she's like, "Oh my God, you guys have like a bromance." And I'm like, you know what? We kind of do. So shout out Kelsey.
Yeah, no, yeah. Shout out to Kelsey. I'm going to show her this. She's upset that she inspired the podcast and has not been invited on. But then you brought up a very valid point. You're like, how would she know that I haven't shouted her out?
But I know, man.
There, man. We got to go and watch all all the episodes.
I'll check like the YouTube Studio app in a few days, and it'd be like a crazy spike, and it'll be like, wow, someone watched 70 hours of episodes.
All courtesy of the Kendricks.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it only took 25 episodes, but shout out Kelsey for coming up with the name of this pod.
Shout out Kelsey. Shout out T Swift. I'm surprised.
Shout out T Swift. The first like 6 or 7 episodes, Taylor Swift came up on every single one of them. And I'm like, dude, I can't even name you like 3 songs, but she keeps on coming up.
Yeah, I know. I remember you telling me that. You're like, Taylor Swift is like unironically becoming something that I talk about every single time. I'm not even trying to bring it up. It just happens. But it also was very relevant at that time though.
It was during football season, and I'm a really big football fan, and she dates Travis Kelce. So they show her on TV 85 fucking times. Well, I'll say 87 because that's Travis's number, but they show her 87 times on TV. So you don't even have to be thinking about her. You're going to see it 87 times.
Yeah, it's plastered everywhere.
But that's it, man. Thank you for hopping on the pod.
Hell yeah. Appreciate you having me, dude.
All right. Peace.
Adios.